Good morning. We are back for chapter 19 and chapter 20 of James and the Giant Peach. Yesterday they were nibbling on the inside of the peach, remember? And they're floating in the sea. Chapter 19. Look, cried the centipede, just as they were finishing their meal. Look at that funny thin black thing gliding through the water over there. They all swung round to look. There are two of them, said Miss Spider. There are lots of them, said the ladybird. What are they? Asked Earthworm, getting worried. They must be some kind of fish, said Old Green Grasshopper. Perhaps they have come along to say hello. They're sharks, cried the Earthworm. I'll bet you anything you like that they are sharks, and they have come along to eat us up. What absolute silliness, the centipede said, but his voice seemed suddenly to have become a little shaky, and he wasn't laughing. I am positive they're sharks, said Earthworm. I just know they are sharks. And so, in actual fact, did everybody else, but they were too frightened to admit it. There was a short silence. They all peered round anxiously at the sharks who were cruising slowly round and around the peach. Just assuming that they are sharks, the centipede said, there still can't possibly be any danger if we stay up here. But even as he spoke, one of those thin black fins suddenly changed direction and came cutting swiftly through the water right up to the side of the peach itself. The shark paused and stared up at the company with small evil eyes. Go away, they shouted. Go away, you filthy beast. There they are, a bunch of sharks down there. They're way up at the top. Slowly, almost lazily, the shark opened his mouth, which was big enough to have swallowed a perambulator, and made a lunge at the peach. They all watched aghast. And now, as though at a signal from the leader, all the other sharks came swimming in towards the peach, and they clustered around it and began to attack it furiously. There must have been 20 or 30 of them at least, all pushing and fighting and lashing their tails, churning the water into a froth. Panic and pandemonium broke out immediately on top of the peach. Oh, we're finished now, cried Miss Spider, wringing her feet. They will eat up the whole peach, and then there'll be nothing for us left to stand on, and they'll start on us. She's right, shouted the ladybird. We are lost forever. Oh, I don't want to be eaten, wailed the Earthworm. But they will take me first of all, because I'm so fat and juicy, and I have no bones. Is there nothing we can do? Asked the ladybird, appealing to James. Surely you can think of a way out of this. Suddenly, they were all looking at James. Think, begged Miss Spider. Think, James, think. Come on, said the centipede. Come on, James. There must be something we can do. Their eyes waited upon him, tense, anxious, pathetically hopeful. Chapter 20. There is something I believe we might try, James Henry Trotter said slowly. I'm not saying it'll work. Tell us, cried the Earthworm. Tell us quick. We'll try anything you say, said the centipede. But hurry, hurry, hurry. Be quiet and let the boy speak, said Ladybird. Go on, James. They all moved a little closer to him. There was a longish pause. Go on, they cried frantically. Go on. And all the time while they were waiting, they could hear the sharks thrashing around in the water below them. It was enough to make anyone frantic. Come on, James, the ladybird said, coaxing him. I'm afraid it's no good after all, James murmured, shaking his head. I'm terribly sorry. I forgot. We don't have any string. We'd need hundreds of yards of string to make this work. What sort of string? Asked Old Green Grasshopper sharply. Any sort, just so long as it's strong. But, my dear boy, that's exactly what we do have. We've got all you want. How? Where? The silkworm, cried the Old Green Grasshopper. Didn't you ever notice the silkworm? She's still downstairs. She never moves. She just lies there, sleeping all day long. But we can easily wake her up and make her spin. And what about me, may I ask? Asked Miss Spider. I can spin just as well as any silkworm. What's more, I can spin patterns. Can you make enough between you? Asked James. As much as you want. And quickly? Of course, of course. And would it be strong? The strongest there is. It's as thick as your finger. But why? What are you going to do? I'm going to lift this peach clear out of the water, James announced firmly. You're mad, cried the earthworm. It's our only chance. The boy's crazy. He's joking. Go on, James, the ladybird said gently. How are you going to do it? Skyhooks, I suppose, jeered the centipede. Seagulls, James answered calmly. The place is full of them. Look up there. They all looked up and saw a great mass of seagulls wheeling round and around in the sky. I'm going to take a long silk string, James went on, and I'm going to loop one end of it around a seagull's neck. And then I'm going to tie the other end to the stem of the peach. He pointed to the peach stem, which was standing up like a short, thick mast in the middle of the deck. Here they are looking up at the seagulls. Then I'm going to get another seagull and do the same thing again. Then another and another. Ridiculous, they shouted. Absurd, balderdash, madness. And the old green grasshopper said, how can a few seagulls lift an enormous thing like this up into the air? And all of us as well. It would take hundreds, thousands. There's no shortage of seagulls, James answered. Look for yourself. We'll probably need 400, 500, 600, maybe even 1,000. I don't know. I shall simply go on hooking them up to the stem until we have enough to lift us. They'll be bound to lift us in the end. It's like balloons. You give someone enough balloons to hold, I mean really enough, then up he goes. And a seagull has far more lifting power than a balloon, if only we have the time to do it. If only we are not sunk first by those awful sharks. You're absolutely off your rocker, said the earthworm. How on earth do you suppose to get a loop of string around a seagull's neck? I suppose you're going to fly up there yourself and catch it? Let him finish, said the ladybird. Go on, James, how would you do it? With bait. Bait? What sort of bait? With the worm, of course. Seagulls love worms, didn't you know that? And luckily for us, we have here the biggest, fattest, pinkest, juiciest earthworm in the world. You can stop right there, Earthworm said. That's quite enough. Go on, the others said, beginning to grow interested. Go on. The seagulls have already spotted him, James continued. That's why there are so many of them circling around. But they daren't come down to get him while all the rest of us are standing here. So this is what... Stop, cried the earthworm. Stop, stop. I won't have it. I refuse. Be quiet, said the centipede. Mind your own business. My dear earthworm, you're going to be eaten away. So what difference does it make whether it's sharks or seagulls? I won't do it. Why don't we hear what the plan is first, said old green grasshopper. I don't give a hoot what the plan is, cried Earthworm. I'm not going to be pecked to death by a bunch of seagulls. You will be a martyr, said the centipede. I shall respect you for the rest of my life. So will I, said Miss Spider. And your name will be in all the newspapers. Earthworm gives life to save friends. But he won't have to give his life, James told them. Now listen to me. This is what we'll do. And that's the end of chapter 20. That is interesting. I wonder how they're going to do that. We'll find out in chapter 21 tomorrow.